Hello students, in the previous class we have discussed the parturition and the lactation process, which was the last segment of the reproduction in organism. Today we will discuss our new chapter, that is called the reproductive health. Okay, so basically what is reproductive health? Reproductive health means simply we can say the maintenance of the reproductive organs. So we can say what is the reproductive health? Reproductive health refers to the maintenance of the reproductive organ and its normal function. We can say first point, reproductive health refers to the maintenance of reproductive organ and its normal function. Okay, so this is a proper as a form of definition we can say that the reproductive health refers to the maintenance of reproductive organ and its normal functions. Second point, according to WHO or World Health Organization, reproductive health refers to a complete well-being in all aspects. We can say it is a well-being in all aspects such as the physical aspect, the emotional aspect, the social aspect and also the behavioral aspect. We can simply say according to WHO or World Health Organization, reproductive health means well-being in all aspects. Okay, whether it may be the physical aspect, or it may be the emotional aspect, or it may be the social aspect, or it may be the behavioral aspect. Okay, third point, in 1994 in a conference which was held in Cairo, which is present in Egypt, in 1994, that is the ICPD, means International Conference on Population and Development. According to that conference, the reproductive health refers in well-being in basically three aspects: physical aspect, the mental aspect and the social aspect. In 1994, according to the ICPD, means what? International Conference on Population and Development. According to them, the reproductive health refers to the well-being in three aspects. Generally, the physical aspect, the mental aspect and the social aspect. Okay, according to in 1994, what is the full form of the ICPD? That is your International Conference on Population and Development. Please remind this, the full form of the ICPD is the International Conference on Population and Development. According to that conference in 1994, which was held in Cairo, Conference Population Development, which was held in Cairo. Please note down Cairo. Okay, it is a place in the Egypt. According to 1994, according to ICPD, or International Conference on Population and Development, which was held in Cairo, according to that, the reproductive health refers to the well-being in three aspects generally, that is your physical, mental and the social. So there are the three descriptions. First one is your general, means the reproductive health refers to the well maintenance of the reproductive organ and its normal function. According to WHO, it is the well-being in case of the various, in so many aspects, whereas it physically, emotionally, social and the behavioral. Whereas the last one, that is your, according to the conference occurred in the ICPD, which is known as the International Conference on Population and Development, which was held in Cairo in the year 1994. The reproductive health refers to the well-being in three aspects, such as the physical and the mental and the social. But it does not believe, means not, it only believes in the well-being in three aspects, means the physical, mental and the social, but not mere absence of the disease, not mere absence of diseases. Means according to the International Conference on Population Development, reproductive health not only refers to only the absence of the disease. No, it does not refer only to the absence of disease. It refers to all the aspects, basically three aspects. It refers to the well-being of the, it refers to the physically, it refers to the mentally, and also it refers to the socially. It does not only believe on the mere absence of the disease. It does not decide the reproductive health only on the absence or presence of the disease. Maybe the absence of disease are not present, but you should see that it is well-being in three aspects or not, that is the physically, mentally and the socially. So now we'll discuss the various need of the reproductive health. Now come to the need of reproductive health. What is the basic need of the reproductive health? The first one is the prevention of unwanted pregnancy. Please note down, the first one is your prevention of unwanted pregnancy. So the unwanted pregnancy can be prevented by the mother due to various reasons also. Okay. One of the common reason, maybe the mother is now maybe not physically or mentally able or ready to get pregnant, or also she might be insecure about her future career, or also he or she means her husband and she might be not able financially to grow up a child. So due to various reasons, the first need is very important, that is a prevention of the unwanted pregnancy. Okay. Second one is your elimination of various sexual and reproductive health risks. Having a proper knowledge and proper awareness can prevent and eventually help in eliminating various sexual and the reproductive health risks, such as various common sexual transmitted diseases can be prevented by using various precautions during the sexual intercourse. So this is your second need of the reproductive health, that is your elimination of the sexual and reproductive health risk, which is very important need of the reproductive health. Okay. The third point is to have information about comprehensive sex education. Okay. Right education about the sex, or the sex education should be must present in all the school, colleges, so that the children, the schools, the students can be properly aware of it, so that the young people's mind can have a totally different attitude towards say sexual or reproductive health organs. Okay. by eventually which will help them to prevent from the future coming sexually transmitted diseases. So the proper sex education is also required for, and also we can say it is the proper need for the reproductive health. Fourth one is your for safe and supportive environments having free from exploitation and abuses. In our social media, we daily see a number of cases about the sexual harassment or harassment, etc. So it should be created a safe and supportive environment having by which the exploitation and the abuses can be reduced. As recently today, I have seen a news in which a 13-year-old girl is being sexually assaulted by a person. So this environment should be made safe, by which the exploitation and the abuses can be reduced. So this is your fourth need of the reproductive health. Fifth one is to be alert to special problems among the adolescents, such as common is your HIV and various sexual transmitted diseases, so that if proper knowledge is being grabbed by the youth, so that they can be aware and they can be prevented from various sexual transmitted diseases such as HIV by using precautions during the intercourse. So, and they can be prevented. So fifth point for the need of reproductive health is to be alert to special problems among the adolescents. Okay, and the sixth and the important need of reproductive health is your to develop health workers competencies. Means to we can say to develop more workforce, or we can say to develop more care providers. They can be trained in such a way that they can not only meet the requirement of the clinical need, but also emotionally the need of the mothers or the adolescent mothers. Okay. So these are your 6 need of the reproductive health. First one is your prevention of the unwanted pregnancy. Second one is your elimination of sexual reproductive health risk. Third one is your to have information about comprehensive sex education. Third one is for safe and supportive environments having free from exploitation and abuses. Fifth one, to be alert to special problems among the adolescents. And fifth one, to develop the health workers, or we can say the care providers should be be trained properly so that they can meet the requirements clinically or emotionally of the adolescent mothers. So these are your important need of the reproductive health. Okay. Now we'll come to discuss the various problems of the reproductive health. Now come to the problems of the reproductive health. We have first discussed what is the reproductive health, then we have discussed the need of the reproductive health. Now we'll discuss what are the problems of the reproductive health. Okay. First point. The reason is your early marriage. Now also in some part of the interior part of the India, now also they gave importance to the child marriage. As child marriage has a brief history, or they have a great importance in our case or in case of Indians. So it is also an important reason for the problem of the reproductive health. How? Early marriage means when the girl touches the puberty at the age of merely 13, the family members get married her. She is now reproductively able for the reproduction, but does his mind, mentally, or does she physically able to get mother? No. That is why it is the main problem during the early marriage, which creates a big problem in case of the reproductive health, because she might be able for the reproduction, but she is not mentally and physically able to get pregnant or to become mother. So this is one of the main reason for the problem behind the reproductive health. Okay. Now eventually the second one, that is your maternal health. What happens in the case of maternal health? If we have seen various numbers of cases in which during giving the childbirth, the mother can't bear the pain while delivering or while giving birth to the child. So it is the main problem. Only basically in case of which case? In case of the early marriage. They are so young, so that their body is not ready to be developing a baby inside them. So we can say the early marriage, which leads to the main problem of the reproductive health, it also helps. It also is the main cause of the maternal health. Means during the birth of the child, sometimes the mother could not bear the pain of the child and eventually she dies. So which is the main problem of which we can say one of the main problem of the reproductive health. Okay. The third point is your sexually transmitted diseases. Obviously, if the youth or all the people should have properly awareness or proper information about the things, or about, we can say, proper information about the sex education, then the sexual transmitted diseases can be prevented. But lacking of the awareness, lacking of the proper knowledge, the sexually transmitted diseases are being transmitted from one infected person to other infected person, basically or mainly through the sexual intercourse, which is also the main problem of the reproductive health. It can be prevented by using various precautions during the sexual intercourse. But if one does not take the precautions, then the infected person's infection can be passed to the healthy person. Okay, so this is one of the main problem of the reproductive health. Third one. Fourth one. Early marriage is eventually linked somehow in the overpopulation. Why? In the early marriage means the reproduction or the menstrual cycle starts about around 13 years. Okay, and the reproductive health or reproductive age or phase is about 50 years. So in that phase, the reproduction causes the overpopulation. Okay, and also without the using the precautions during the sexual intercourse, it also eventually helps in increasing. Without using the precaution during the sexual intercourse, it also eventually helps in the overpopulation. There are so many methods. Some surgical methods are also present to for the family planning. So not doing all these means not accepting the family planning methods such as various surgical method, or not using the various protections during the sexual intercourse leads, and also the reason in the early marriage, because the phase is about 50 years, so it causes overpopulation. Okay, which is the fourth main reason or the problem of the reproductive health. Fifth one is your lack of awareness, and the sixth one is your myth and misconception. Lack of awareness and myth and misconception. Awareness means not having proper data or not aware of something properly, and myth and misconception means having a wrong idea about something, having a wrong knowledge about something. I'll give a common example. Some places in interior area, they say that the temporary evidence of the pregnancy is a sin. Sin means dosha. Why? Because becoming pregnant is a God's gift, or we can say God's event, or we can say God's gift or blessing. Interrupting that process is something doing a sin, which is now also a great myth in case of the interior village area or the peoples in case of interior area of the India. Okay? They think that if the temporary evidence of the pregnancy is done, they might be lead to the permanent infertility. Okay, so this is also means the lack of awareness and the great myth and misconception, which is the big problem for the problems of the reproductive health. Okay, and the last two are the maternal mortality rate and the infant mortality rate. Maternal mortality means what? Death rate. Mortality means the death rate. The death rate. Okay, the maternal mortality rate is also one of the main important cause or the problem of the reproductive health, and also the infant mortality rate means the infant death rate is also one of the main problem of the reproductive health. According to data, in 2000, around 5,39,000 mother died during giving birth to the child. According to data, in 2000, around 5,39,000 mothers died while giving birth to child. Maybe it due to some complexion, or maybe they could not bear the pain. So that is the maternal mortality rate, which is the main problem of the reproductive health. And also there are various data, means in the year 2000, 5,39,000 mothers died while giving birth child. And also there are another fact, that is around 3 million childs has been died within the 7 days of the birth. 3 million children died during the first week of birth. Okay? And around 2.7 million children died or born as a stillborn. Stillborn means what? They are already died in the mother's uterus. Means when the mother gives birth to the child, they are already being dead. Okay? So according to the survey, the maternal mortality rate, around 5,39,000 mothers died while giving birth to the child, because due to some complexion or they cannot bear the pain. And around 3 million childs died within 1 week of the birth. And also 3 million children, around 2.7 million children died with inside the mother's uterus. Means we can say when the mother gave birth to the child, they are already dead. That is called the stillborn. Okay. So these are your various problems of the reproductive health. First one, early marriage. Second one, maternal health care or maternal health, which is a great issue of the problem of the reproductive health. While during giving birth to the child, eventually sometimes the mother died. Because they could not bear the pain of the childbirth. Third one, the sexual transmitted diseases. Fourth one, the overpopulation. Fifth one, the lack of awareness. Sixth one, the myth. Sixth one is the myth and misconceptions. Seventh one is your maternal mortality rate, and the eighth one is your infant mortality rate. And we have given some facts. Okay. So these are your various problems of the reproductive health. Okay. Note down. Now we'll discuss various strategies of the reproductive health. Now we discuss the problems. Now we'll discuss various strategies of the reproductive health. Now come to the strategies of the reproductive health. Okay. So there are various strategies by which we can help in well maintenance of the reproductive health. There are 7 strategies for the reproductive health. We will discuss each by one. First one is your family planning. As the name suggests, family planning means the family can plan, or the couple can plan that when they can have a baby, when they are capable of growing up a baby, so that they can support him financially, they can support their proper education, they can give them proper food. If they are properly financially stable, so they can plan for a baby. So that is nothing but the family planning, which was first introduced in India in the year 1951. Please remember. Also, one importance of the family planning is that means during the birth of one baby and the another baby, the difference or the gap is maintained by the help of family planning. Having a 2 years of gap in 2 babies helps in the development or the giving birth to a healthy child, with eventually help also in less complexity in the case of mother, or less medical issues in case of mother. So eventually family planning helps in overall process, or we can say it helps in developing the mother's also health, and also it helps in giving birth to a healthy child. So it is advised to give a 2 years gap so that the baby which will born, it will be healthy. Okay. And also various financial reasons, as I have said earlier. So first one is the family planning, which is the main or the first strategy of the maintenance of the proper good health of the reproductive organ and its normal functioning, or we can say the first strategy of the reproductive health. Second one is your child health care. There are various programs such as the reproductive child health care or the RCH, which eventually always helps in how to develop the health evidence of the child, or we can say it always work on how to develop the child health care. Okay. So next is your sex education. As I have said earlier, that the proper awareness of or proper data or the proper knowledge should be given to the peoples about the sex education, or we can say proper sex education should be given to all of the peoples, so that eventually they can help to, so that they can have another attitude about the sexual or the reproductive health, or eventually they can help in the future from preventing from various sexual transmitted diseases, okay, by using various protections during sexual intercourse, etc. Fourth one is your birth control devices. Eventually the birth control devices, the youth must be aware of various birth control devices that are available, so that they can be prevented from the unwanted pregnancy. Also they can be prevented from the sexually transmitted diseases. Okay, during the sexual intercourse, if they take the precautions or the various birth control devices, so eventually they can help in we can also say that they can help also in the family planning. Also they can also help in protecting from the various sexual transmitted diseases, in form of they can also use some precaution during sexual intercourse, or they can use various contraceptive pills so that the pregnancy can be avoided. Okay, so eventually the youth must be aware of various birth control devices. Okay, next, the research in reproductive related areas. There are a lot of research is taken place in case of the reproductive related areas, so that for the betterment or the enrichment or the betterment of the reproductive health, so that how the reproductive organs or the reproductive health can be more developed. So lots of research is also taken in the reproductive health areas. Sixth one is your amniocentesis. As you all know, amniocentesis, what is amniocentesis? It is a technique by which small portion of the amniotic fluid is being taken from the amniotic cavity, which consists of various fetal cells, I have told earlier, which helps in analyzing if there is presence of various genetical disorder or not. So this is an important strategy for the of the reproductive health. But amniocentesis is basically misused for knowing the sex of the fetus. Okay, basically in such a mean-minded family, if the fetus, they know that it is a girl child, they eventually do the abortion. So this is the main drawback of the amniocentesis, and also it is illegal, also it is a crime. Okay, so amniocentesis, it is a important strategy of the reproductive health, but it is basically sometimes it is misused for knowing the sex of the fetus. And lastly, we will discuss the sexual transmitted disease. We will discuss in little bit elaborately. Okay. Now come to the seventh number of strategy, that is your STD or the sexual transmitted disease. Little bit we will discuss it in elaborately. What is sexual transmitted disease? Simply, proper definition, in simple way we can say the definition of the sexual transmitted diseases is, it is the transmission of the infection from a infected person to a healthy person through the mainly through the sexually intercourse. You can say definition as It is the transmission of infection from an infected person to a healthy person through sexual intercourse. Okay, so we can say it is the transmission of the infection from an infected person to a healthy person, mainly through the sexual intercourse. Okay, it is also known as venereal disease, or it is also known as reproductive tract infection. It is also known as venereal disease or reproductive tract infection, or we can say RTI. Okay, so it is also known as the venereal disease or the reproductive tract infection. Okay, so this is all about your definition. Means it is the transmission of the infection from an infected person to a healthy person, mainly through the sexual intercourse. So now we'll discuss what are the main reasons behind the sexual transmitted diseases. Now come to the various causing agents which causes the sexually transmitted disease. There are various causing agents such as bacteria, virus, fungi, nematodes, ectoparasites, etc. There are various causing agents such as bacteria, virus, fungi, nematodes, ectoparasite. Ectoparasite means ecto means outer and parasite means which depends on the other organism to survive or for their food. So these are your various causing agents such as bacteria, virus, fungi, nematodes and also ectoparasite. Now we discuss the various mode of transmission. The various mode of transmission of the sexual transmitted disease. Okay. First one is your unprotected sexual intercourse with the infected person. Unprotected sexual intercourse with the infected person. Obviously, when the healthy person does sexual intercourse with the infected person, obviously through the sexual intercourse, the infection get transmitted into the healthy person, by which the disease also being transmitted by various causing agents from the infected person to the healthy person. Okay, second point. Second point is your sharing of infected medical equipments or syringes or needles during injection. Sharing infected medical equipments. Obviously, when we use the various medical equipments if we are using a medical equipment to a particular infected person, and that medical equipment will use another time to a healthy person, to obviously the disease will easily transmit. That is why always after using a syringe of the injection, it is disposed so that it could not be another time used to any person. Otherwise the transmission of the disease, the factor, the responsibility, the factor of the causing of the spreading of the disease gets increases, or the percentage of spreading of the transmission of the disease gets increases. That is why after using the medical equipments, it should be properly sterilized, or if we are using syringe or needle during the injection, it should be disposed so that this could not be used another time, which can be used for the prevention of the sexual transmitted disease. So the second point is your sharing the infected medical equipments. Third point is your transfusion of maternal blood and fetus. Okay, transfusion of the maternal blood and the fetus. Sometimes during the birth, or we can say sometimes the mother's blood comes in contact into fetus sometimes, so that transfusion may also cause the sexually transmitted disease. So these are your three modes of transmission of the STDs or sexual transmitted diseases. First one is your unprotected sexual intercourse with the infected persons. Third one is your sharing the infected medical equipments, and fourth one is your transfusion or the blood transfusion between the mother's blood and the fetus, transfusion of maternal blood and the fetus. Now we will discuss various STD or the various sexual transmitted diseases. One point you should remember, that the transfusion of the infected, okay, transfusion of the infected maternal blood to the fetus. Okay, so now we will discuss the various types of STDs. Now we will discuss some important sexual transmitted diseases and their common technique for the detection, means various sexual transmitted diseases and how it can be detected. First one is your chlamydiasis. Okay, the causal agent, we have drawn three columns. One is your STD, means the sexual transmitted diseases. Second one is column is your causal agent, who caused that, and the detection technique by which we can detect the disease. Okay, so first one is your chlamydiasis. Okay, and the causal agent is, we have written in this, there is scientific forms, that is why I have underlined it. The causal agent is the Chlamydia trachomatis, and the detection technique is the clinical or the gram staining of the discharge. This is the technique. You will be asked, what are the causing agent of this particular disease? Or you can be asked, what is the detection technique for detecting various sexual transmitted disease? So you can write this as your answer. So second one is your gonorrhea. The causal agent is Neisseria gonorrhea, and the detection technique is your gram staining of discharge. Okay. Third one is your trichomonosis, and the causal agent are your Trichomonas vaginalis, and the detection technique is your microscopic examination and also some culture method. Fourth one important is your syphilis, and the causal agent is your Treponema pallidum, and the detection technique is your antibody detection or the VDRL, means Venereal Disease Research Laboratory. The next one is your genital warts, and the causing agent is your human papilloma virus or HPV, and the detection technique is your clinical and the culture or etc. Various techniques are also present. The sixth and seventh is your hepatitis B and the hepatitis C. Okay, which is caused by the causal agent, the hepatitis B virus and the hepatitis C virus respectively. Okay, means hepatitis B caused by the hepatitis B virus, and the hepatitis C is caused by the hepatitis C virus. and these both are being determined or are being detected by a technique called ELISA. Okay, and which the full form is your enzyme link immunosorbent assay. In detail we will read about all this process later on, and the most important is your AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, which is caused by causing agent called human immunodeficiency virus or HIV, and it is detected by ELISA or PCR. PCR means polymerase chain reaction, means amplification of DNA. It is a technique used for amplification of the DNA. And last one is your cancroid, which causes by the causal agent that is called Haemophilus ducrei, and which is detected by the detection technique that is your clinical or the culture method. So there are so many sexual transmitted diseases, their causal agent and their detection technique. So this is all about today's class. Thank you.